Hi, I'm AJ Ganger here in the Indian Nation Station studios today with Erica Ernst and Karen Wendelin for the Cakes for a Cause event coming up in a couple weeks, which is really exciting here, 2019. We did one of these last year with one of our students. Today, you get me, unfortunately.
Oh, no, that's great. Thanks.
So what exactly is Cakes for a Cause?
Okay, well, Cakes for a Cause is a community event that brings a lot of people out to the Miami Valley Center Mall, but it's also a cake auction, and all of the proceeds from the auction go into the foundation's fund for grant making. So each year we have maybe between 80 and 90 cakes out at the mall, and they're all on view, but then later auctioned, and the money goes to grants to organizations around our community.
Now, when you say foundation, which foundation are you talking about?
I guess I should say that, shouldn't I?
I should have said it too.
It's the Piqua Community Foundation.
Okay.
We're one of the only nonprofit public foundations in Piqua, and as such, then all the funds that we raise and that we, gain through all of our investments and everything go into the Piqua community. So very local.
What day this year is the Cakes for a Cause event?
Okay, the event is going to be held on Friday, April 26th. The live auction will start from 12 noon until 5 p.m. But you can also, people that just want to come out and view the cakes can do so starting after 5 p.m. on Thursday and up until noon on Friday is when all the cakes will be out for display.
And how does it work? How does one person get a cake?
Okay, well, as Erica said, on Thursday the cakes come out to be put on display at the mall. The cakes can be donated by an individual person. They can be donated by an organization, a company. We have a youth division, so we have sometimes young kids, but at least people under the age of 18 that donate a cake, and they also donate an incentive with the cake. And the incentive is what really drives the bids up, because when people are bidding on the cake, they're going to pay a lot more than you would pay for a cake, because they get the incentive along with it. So if you were interested in a cake on that particular weekend, you could go to our website, piquacommunityfoundation.org, and the website explains which cakes will be auctioned at which time, and what flavor the cake is, and who donated it, and what the incentive is that comes with it. If you don't want to check it on the website, you can actually come out to the mall on that Thursday after 5 or anytime Friday morning, and you can see the list of the cakes. You can see the cakes. Some of the incentives will be on display in the window that you can actually see them, but some are things like gift cards, so those aren't on display. But basically, the sheet will tell you, the cake you're interested in is going to be offered at 3:20 in the afternoon. So you can either bid on it live at the mall prior to the time that it's auctioned by just writing your name and your phone number and your bid, or you can, during the 20-minute period that it's being auctioned, you can actually call us. We have the phone number posted all over the place, and you can call and ask what the high bid is and then place your bid that way. But any cake, any donor or any buyer that is the high bidder and gets that cake will get a phone call from us saying, you got number 62 or whatever cake it is, and then you just come back out to the mall, pay for the cake, and take it home with the incentive.
So what are some of the incentives? I mean, last year you guys had really cool incentives. Some of them I should have just bid on the cake. I didn't want the cake. I just wanted the incentive. I know some people, that's why they end up bidding on a cake. But what are some of the coolest incentives that come with these cakes?
Well, we don't have all of the incentives in for this year yet. We can tell you some of the things we have in, and the one I think intrigues me the most at this point, Cindy Dobo from Dobo's Delights Bake Shop does her cake together with Reed Moore's Hallmark. And for their incentive, you get a basket of goodies from Reed Moore, but you also get the opportunity to be a baker for a day at the bakery. So on a date that's mutually acceptable to you and to Cindy, you get to come in and be a baker in the bakery, and I think that'd be fun.
That would be really fun. We went in there and did a This Is Piqua there, and they just got their new oven like a week before we went in there.
Amazing.
It's so awesome to be in there.
Great.
And we got a lot of free donuts too, so
Good.
it does.
It smells really good.
As soon as you walk in the door, you just smell the donuts and the cakes and everything.
Oh yeah, that's great. Well, and I don't know if you want to talk about some of the things we expect to get that we don't know.
We typically get Cincinnati Reds tickets, Dragons tickets, theater tickets, dinners, There's fun things like Winans will give you a personal tour of the production facility with some free products. What else is there? You can get trees to be planted, flowers a year, like a flower each month for a year. All kinds of fun things.
Yeah.
And just gift baskets, gift cards of all sorts.
And this year we have a couple of new ones. We have the This and That Candy on Main Street is giving us, well, I guess they call it the candy buffet, where once a month you can go in and fill your box with candy. So I think that will be kind of fun, and it's kind of a neat way for a business also to maybe have somebody stop at their shop who's never been there before, but they've got this at the auction, so they go in and use it, and it might be a great client in the future. Again, as we get closer to the event, maybe by about the 15th of April, we'll have a whole list of all the incentives, the dates of the baseball tickets, and all of the information we'll have by then, and those will be on our website. And again, that's piquacommunityfoundation.org, and there's a special tab for Cakes for a Cause information, so it'll be posted there. We hope by April 15th, at least as much information as we have by then on the 15th.
You know, I may have to put a bid on one of those Reds or Dragons ones. I love baseball games, so I got to go to a couple this year.
And what's really cool is, I know some of the ones we're getting this year already. PSC Crane and Rig gives us their Reds tickets, and it's 4 tickets on the club level, which means free food, and a parking pass, which is very cool. One of the Dayton Dragons sets that we have is a set of 6 tickets, and it's the front row of the upper level, so you can kind of put your feet up on the ledge and no one's in front of you, and they're just really good seats. So we really appreciate those. I think are from Forest Hill Cemetery are donating that set.
Hartzell Propeller.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You want to talk about theirs?
They just always give you, I forget what it's called, the wooden propeller with the mounting hardware for you to display in your home. It's really neat.
I think we saw one of those last year,
We
too.
had
Those were
one
really,
last
really
year.
cool to
They're
see.
about 6 feet
Yeah.
long, so you can hardly miss it if you see it, but they're walnut, they're highly polished
beautiful,
brass.
yeah.
It's really, that's a thing in Piqua, to have a propeller at your house. Even if you don't have a plane, you should have a propeller. That's what Jim Brown used to always say. So we get one of those every year from Hartzell. And we should really say, I don't think we could do the event without Hartzell, because they also provide the tech for us that day. So all of the monitors, so that people in the mall can see the high bids, and people on the radio can see the high bids, and the people at the phones can see it all simultaneously, because Hartzell sets it up for us, because we don't have the technology skills to do that ourselves.
And now, how did last year's event go? Last year's event was our first event for the Indian Nation Station to be out there. I mean, that thing ran like a well-oiled machine. I'm telling you, just like you're saying, the monitors and everything. I mean, it's really a very well-run event. So how did last year's event end up going overall for you guys?
Well, we have awesome volunteers to make that happen.
We do.
We could not do it without them.
But last year we had 81 cakes, and I think we talked a little bit, but there is a special auction on Thursday evening for cakes that have particularly exciting incentives, shall we say. But I think there were 4 that night, and then 77 the next day. So we had 81 cakes in total. We raised over $20,000 for the foundation, which is awesome. Because like I said, that goes into our grant making fund, and then that goes back out to the community. So we're real excited to be able to do something that, in what most people say, in just a one-day event. Well, for us it starts in January and goes till April, but it is something that this is our 14th year. So over the years we have been able to streamline the process quite a bit from where it was the first year, but it does work very well, and there are many, many volunteers we have to thank for that, not just the 2 of us. So
Now let's get into this year's theme of the Cakes for a Cause event. What is this year's theme?
This year's theme is super fun. It's called Name That Tune. So you can design your cake after your favorite song, and there's a theme prize to follow that. So if we're walking around and looking at your cake, and we can just we can decipher, oh, that's that song, and it's just a really fun theme. So we're excited to see what people come up with. You can also design it after your organization or business, or however you choose. It's really open, but the theme is Name That Tune for this year.
We talked a little bit about, you say the radio station is going to be out there and things like that. What other kind of coverage from the media in town are you guys getting this year?
Well, actually, Indian Nation Station is going to give us some coverage.
Yeah.
Last year, you guys were out there for part of Thursday, I think, and
We did all of Thursday night.
and all of Friday, or a lot
most
of
of
Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Bopping back and forth, because I know you spoke with a bunch of our volunteers as the event was going on, but we really are excited to be able to provide that piece of it, because it is very visual. And,
Yeah.
and the radio station coverage is awesome. Gonzo Radio Piqua is also going to cover Thursday night, and I think they're going to do some live streaming on Friday, and then WPTW Radio, which also has the ability to live stream on their website, will be doing the 5 hours from 12 to 5 on Friday. They don't do any Thursday, but they do Friday. So it's great to be able to hear the auction live on the radio, because if you have the ability to either stream it or listen on the radio, you'll be able to hear what those bids are and call in your bid. But having TV out there, having the cameras and the streaming and being able to see the cakes is just, if you've never seen 80 or 90 cakes at once, and most of them are not just a rectangle cake.
No, they're
all
huge cakes too.
creative and
Impressive,
colorful
yeah.
and beautiful. So just being able to show that to people, visually, I think is a really neat thing if they're not able to come out and see it live at the mall.
Like you said, the radio coverage with WPTW is good too, because I was out there maybe from noon to about 3 o'clock last
Right.
year, and then on my way home, I was actually listening to it on the radio
Right.
on my way home,
Yeah.
just to hear, what, because I got into
How
it,
it's
listening to the bids and stuff, and it's just nice to be able to hear the
Well,
radio stuff
and
too.
part of what you hear, we're happy to be able to have that whole 5 hours coverage, because it gives us a chance to kind of promote those businesses and organizations that put cakes in. So often we'll have, maybe the Rehabilitation Center will put a cake in. But then while we're talking about their cake and while the bids are live on their cake, we can also talk about the Rehab Center and what they do. Their incentive is often tickets to an event that they're planning. So we get to promote that a little bit for them too, and having that whole 5 hour time allows us to do that for the people that put cakes in. So as I said, like for This and That's Candy on Main, they're kind of a new or a new business in town, and it gives them an opportunity to have a commercial, talk about their business, and maybe get some new customers by just people like you listening to see how it's going. So we appreciate having the support, really visually, auditorially, everything, because it really does help the community know what we're about.
Yeah, it really
good.
does. You talked a little bit about what the profits are used for already. Kind of reiterate that. Where all the profits go to?
Sure. Well, a lot of people have heard of the Piqua Community Foundation but don't really know what we do. But one of the main things we do is to make grants to schools and nonprofit organizations that serve Piqua and the residents of Piqua. So a lot of the grants that we make, we have 2 grant cycles a year, and every year we have more money to give because of events like this and the growth of some of our investments. So this year we're probably going to give away more than $100,000 in grants, and those go to things usually maybe in the $2,000 to $3,000 range or less. So we do a lot of school grants. We bought new risers for the show choir last year. We bought band uniforms. We pay for the elementary school to go to the Banana Slug Festival almost every year. We sponsored a run club at Piqua Central Intermediate. I mean, there are a lot of teachers and school staff people and coaches and people like that just need a little bit of money to do a really fun thing for their classroom or their club,
Yeah.
but they just don't have that budget. So a lot of what we do goes back to the community that way. Then sometimes there are bigger projects that affect more of the community. We helped pay to re-landscape Doss Park a couple years ago when they redid everything, and we bought some playground equipment for some of the parks. We've paid for equipment for the fire department. We bought a bunch of the AEDs that they use for someone who's had a heart attack that are placed in a lot of the cities, buildings and facilities around the community. So there are just many, many things in the community that we've been able to do with the money that we raise and the money that we receive from donations. So just a plug for that too, if anyone who's listening is part of an organization that is a nonprofit and might be looking for grant money, if they go to that website again at piquacommunityfoundation.org, there is a whole tab of information about the grants. Right now we have a grant cycle that ends at the end of March, so we're getting pretty close to that deadline.
Yeah.
But we also have one in the fall, in September. So if anybody wants more information about that, they can go to the website and check that out.
And finally, what kind of cakes can be entered this year?
Well, as we said before, there's a cupcake division, there's a youth division for anyone under 18, which is really fun for the kids. There's also just an individual, if you're an individual and want to enter a cake with an incentive, so there's that. We have corporate division for businesses and then nonprofit as well. So there's many ways to get entered, and there's, again, the special theme for Name That Tune prize. There's People's Choice Award. I mean, we just try to make this as fun an event for everyone as possible.
Right. And we should mention the People's Choice Award. Every year, anyone who's at the mall looking at the cakes can vote for the People's Choice. And this year, the People's Choice Trophy is being sponsored by Upper Valley Medical Center and Premier Health. So they're making a donation to the foundation based on which cake wins the People's Choice. So that's something that if you're at the mall, you just need to pick up one of our little green voting slips and put down the number of the cake that you like. But we also didn't mention the corporate challenge, and that's something that's been kind of fun over the last few years. This year, that will take place on Thursday night. We have at least 3 organizations that are going to be part of the corporate challenge this year. And the corporate challenge is basically an organization or business that says, we just want to support the foundation. So rather than giving an incentive, they just put the cake in with the thought that they're going to buy it back by making a really nice donation to the foundation. So last year, I want to say, I know the winner was Miami Valley Steel, and they, I want to say, donated $3,000 or more to get their own cake back.
Yeah.
But it's a donation to the foundation. So the auction of the corporate challenge cakes will take place Thursday as part of the VIP auction as well.
And their cake was almost too pretty to eat. Do you remember?
It was. Well, I don't know where people get the ideas for the cakes, but they are just amazing, and how they make them out of cake, I don't know. I mean, we used to say we're not the Rose Parade. Everything doesn't have to be flowers like it does in the Rose Parade. Not everything needs to be cake at ours. Janelle's Flowers, I think, has done a cake every year, and it's never cake. It's always flowers made to look like a 3-tier cake or some kind of a cake thing. So we have all kinds of things. Some years we've had cakes that are so big. One year we had a motorcycle cake that was donated by an organization whose incentive was that you got to take a ride on a motorcycle through, I think it was then Gover, Harley-Davidson. And the motorcycle cake was so big that we could almost not get it in the car of the person that bought it. It was so large. And then sometimes we just have a small cake, or a set of cupcakes. So if you're interested, I know you have a son whose birthday is right around that time of year. So it's a good time to get a birthday cake, because some of them are very easily transportable. Some are pretty big and hard to get out of there. But even if you don't think you need a cake that day, like you said, sometimes people are not bidding on the cake, they're bidding on the incentive. Because the incentives are really pretty cool, and some of them are things that you can't necessarily get any other way than buying them through an auction kind of thing. So we're real excited to be able to have so many interesting things. We have no idea yet what the cakes will look like, so that's always a surprise to us when they come in, but we're starting to get a really good list of cakes and incentives, so we're thinking this will be another good, successful year for the foundation.
So where can anyone go to maybe see some pictures of the cakes in the past or get any more information on this event coming up?
Well, on our website, again, piquacommunityfoundation.org, there's a tab along the top that says Cakes for a Cause, and a drop-down menu will either let you register for this year or see all the cakes from last year. So those are posted there. And again, if anybody wants to call us, then we're at the office off and on. This time of year, we're there a lot. But the number is 615-9080, and they can call us anytime. And if they have a specific question, all the cakes, because they're displayed in the mall, have to be covered. And the biggest question we usually get is, I have a cake that's like 4 feet long, how am I going to cover it? So those are questions we field a lot, but we're glad to answer any questions that anybody might have, either about grants or the foundation or the cakes or the incentives. So.
What time does the VIP auction begin on Thursday night?
Oh, good question. Probably that one we're a little bit loose, because at about 5:40 or 5:45 we give out the awards first place in each of the categories, the theme prize, those kind of things. So depending on how long that takes, the VIP auction starts right after that. So I would think roughly 6 o'clock. That'd be close anyway. A few minutes before 6 maybe is when we'd start. But yeah, so, and that's of course free and open to the public. Anybody can come out and be part of it. We're hoping to play a Name That Tune game, details to be discovered later. But that might be part of the Thursday night as well, just to kind of get everybody in a good mood. So but yeah, we invite everybody to come out to the mall that evening.
Live music.
Live music, yes.
Yeah. And you guys have snacks and all drinks and all the goodies and stuff there for people that come in as well.
That's actually that's part of the baker's party and the chamber after hours. So the only people that are actually allowed to come in and eat and drink on us are the people who have donated the cakes and those who are part of the Chamber of Commerce and have registered to come out for that. So we know we have enough food for everybody. But yeah, the general public can come out and bid on the cakes and be part of the Name That Tune game and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Well, we look forward to another successful Cakes for a Cause. We'll be out there on Thursday and Friday night for you guys. Don't forget to go out there on Thursday night for the VIP auction around 6 o'clock when they start auctioning off the cakes, and on Friday from noon till 5 o'clock at the Miami Valley Center Mall. We want to thank you guys for taking your time with us today, and again, good luck in your guys' Cakes for a Cause.
Thank you very much. We're looking forward to it.
Get out there and bid on some cakes and maybe get some Reds tickets, some incentives, or anything like that. We hope to see you at this year's Cakes for a Cause.